that goal.
That's true. All right. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. We're still waiting on a few people, but we can get started. So to introduce myself, my name is Charlotte Brown. I am the Executive Director of Overnight Camps, which means that I oversee Camp Okanagan, Camp Matalayanaque, and the Outdoor Center. For the past 3 years, I was the Camp Matalayanaque Director. This summer, I am the Camp Okanagan Director. I will also be overseeing Camp Matalayanaque. So again, thanks for joining us. Tonight, we will be talking about how to prep your camper for a successful summer and alleviating homesickness. Tonight, we are lucky enough to have 2 of our camp social workers with us. We have Andrea and Daniel. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Dan. I'm a clinical mental health counselor. I have a associate license to practice counseling, and currently I work at Stockton University's counseling center.
Thank you. I think Andrea is trying to unmute.
It was frozen, my whole screen. Hi, everyone. I'm Andrea. I have a PhD in human behavior and development. This is my 2nd year with the camp, so I'm super excited to be back and looking forward to meeting all you guys.
Thank you. I should tell my background too. So I also have an LMSW, a licensed social work background. So I have my master's in social work, and that's kind of where I come from to camp, with that lens of social work and mental health. And so we're all kind of, thinking about camp through that lens. And so Andrea and Daniel, you're welcome to chime in like as I go through. And parents, you are also welcome to chime in. You can also put questions or concerns in the chat box, and we can read those at the end of the session. Okay, so first of all, congratulations on registering for camp. We are so excited to have all of you at Camp Matali or Camp Okanagan this summer. It really is a really special camp. For Camp Okanagan, this will be its 117th summer. And for Matali, we are in our 86th summer, I believe. So it's a long history of camp. We have a strong alumni base, lots of culture and tradition. A lot of our staff have come back for 15, 16, years. One of our, the assistant director at Okanagan, this is his 18th summer. So these are people who have dedicated their lives to camp and are so excited about teaching the next generation all about overnight camp. So to prepare your camper, the first thing to do is to inform yourself so that you can inform them. So we're close to camp right now, but what a great thing to do is to go to a camp tour. We have lots of events in the off season. We have open houses, we have roll up your sleeves, which is a volunteer event. We had a new camper orientation on May 21st. So lots of different events and times to come to camp and meet me, meet the other director, meet our leadership team, to get to see camp, get a sense of it, get a sense of the culture and the people, and really be able to envision yourself and your camper here. That tends to alleviate a lot of anxiety when campers can actually see themselves in the environment, especially in the cabins. What do the showers look like? What does the dining hall look like? And being able to see that and experience that, they can envision themselves in these spaces, and they become a lot more at ease with thinking that they're going to spend a week or 2 weeks at camp. I always like to mark your calendars. So I would have a calendar at home that either counts down the days until camp and have the days at camp circled with the dates that your campers will be attending. And that way your camper can kind of visualize and count down. You guys can count down together as a family when the camper will be coming to camp. So they're not kind of like, oh, when is camp happening? And it's not this surprise. They really understand and have a grasp of, this is when I'm coming, and they can have ownership over that. It's important to review the materials that are given for overnight camp. So the camper schedule, like a sample schedule, the activity list, all the activities that we do at camp. What does the achievement program look like? A sample menu, all of these things, so that when your camper gets to camp, it's not a complete surprise what they're walking into. So they have a general understanding of what a day in the life of a camper is, and what is a day going to look like, and what is the achievement program, and what are the activities offered, and what do they do when they go boating? What does that look like? And obviously we explain all of this on the first day of camp, but if they have a sense of it and you guys have talked about it together, then they're already ahead of the game when they arrive to camp that Sunday. Reviewing the policies of camp is really important. So the policies in regards to the technology at camp and the communication. So what's expected and what the expectations are when a camper gets to camp. So there's two things. Technology. So I would let your camper know and set the expectation that there is no technology at camp. We are a back to basics kind of camp. So that means they cannot have anything that has Wi-Fi or allows for communication. So no iPhones, no Apple Watches or smartwatches, no iPads, anything of that nature they cannot have. I have had requests from parents who are like, my camper needs like sound at night to go to sleep or something like that. We can certainly work something out that's maybe like battery operated or doesn't connect to Wi-Fi. And so there's plenty of workarounds that we can do for your camper that doesn't have Wi-Fi. And communication is a big one. So I would let your camper know that you will not speak to them on the phone while they are at camp. We have had many campers come to camp and they said, well, my mom said that if I'm homesick, I can call home. So that is just something that we don't do. And the reason is because it actually makes the camper more homesick when they hear your voice on the phone. So we try to alleviate that by setting the expectation that the parents know and the campers know that they will not be calling home. It's also important to know that us as the camp staff and the parents are allies in this, and that we are both on the same page of wanting your camper to have a positive experience. If you as the parent tell your camper that they can call home and we as the camp staff say no, then automatically camp staff are the bad guys, and your camper is not going to feel comfortable at camp. So we want to make sure that camp staff and parents align in expectations so that we're on the same page. Yeah, Andrea.
I just want to jump in there. So all of that is true, but also we're going to be on staff, right? And we're very seasoned mental health workers. I've been in the field probably as long as you've been alive. So I promise, like, I have kids, if there is a real concern or there's a real issue happening, we are going to reach out to you. So I don't want you to feel like, because this is something that happened last year, there's a lot of questions behind this, like, your child is not going to be here literally having a breakdown and we're like, sorry, you can't call home. That's not what this is about, right? So if there is a genuine mental health concern, you can reach out to us and let us know. We're going to be around the camp and we'll make sure that we're shadowing in a distance where the camper doesn't know what's going on. And we're happy to get them on the phone if there's like a serious compromising event. So I just want to put your mind at ease for all the parents right now that are going like, oh my gosh, that's not what we mean. We mean just like normal homesickness that they get past. If there's something more serious, we'll certainly reach out to you. We'll certainly call and be in touch. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, that's a good point. So we have a parent liaison, and the parent liaison, and there's a parent liaison for both camps. And their job is the first line of communication for emails and phone calls for you guys. So you are welcome to call camp or email camp anytime and be like, can you just check in and just make sure they're okay? And it's no problem. And we would send one of the social workers or the village leaders out and just like check in to make sure that your camper is fine. One thing that we say at camp is no news is good news. So if you don't hear from us, that's a good thing. That means that everything is going perfectly. We like to over communicate. So if something is happening, as Andrea mentioned, we will let you know, whether that's an emotional thing, physical, they're not feeling well, there's an issue in the cabin, things that come up, we will let you know. But in general, no news is good news. Things that we do in terms of like communication with parents, there's a few options. So the first is there's always snail mail. You are welcome to send as many letters as you would like. Many parents send letters before camp starts so that it's there when the campers are already there, so that they have mail on that first night. The other option is Bunk One. Bunk One is a platform for parents, and it does two things. The first one is photos. You can log in and see all the photos of the day, see what your camper has been doing. And the second one is communication. So basically it's called Bunk Notes and Bunk Replies. Bunk Notes are from parents. It is basically like a blank template, and you can write your note, and it has a QR code on the bottom. It's scanned to camp, it's printed here, and it is sorted with our mail, and it's distributed at mail time every day. Then there are Bunk Replies. Bunk Replies are from campers to parents. So Bunk Replies, parents, you can purchase these. It's completely optional. Campers can respond on these Bunk Replies. There's a QR code on the bottom, and then it's scanned back home. So something that we're changing this year is those Bunk Replies are only happening twice a week, on Tuesday nights and Thursday nights. So if you would like a Bunk Reply, they will happen, or like you will receive them Tuesday nights and Thursday nights. So that's just something new that's happening this summer. Anything else you guys want to add before we move on? Okay. And follow us on our social media platforms. You can do this before camp, obviously, and then you can watch what's going on during camp. So there is, both camps have an Instagram account, a Facebook account, and a TikTok account. All of those platforms are active now. So on those platforms, we're introducing staff, we're introducing new activities, we are counting down to camp. And then when camp starts, you know, you'll hear from us a lot. We post probably 3-4 times a day, and then you can just kind of see what's going on at camp before your camper gets there, and then obviously while your camper gets there. Okay. Giving a hands-on experience at camp. So setting your camper up to practice things that they will be doing once they are at camp. So for example, campers can learn and practice to make their bed at home so that when they get to camp, they have an understanding of how to make a bed, and it's not this overwhelming new experience. We have cabin cleanup every day. For Akanikin, it's before breakfast, and for Matali, it's after breakfast. And part of what we do is teaching campers responsibility and communal living. And so campers make their bed and clean their cubby, and they have like a chore that they do every day. So I would encourage campers to learn how to make their bed, practice making their bed before they get to camp. And then when they get to camp, it's easy. It's not this like overwhelming experience and that they need help on how to do it. For our mini campers, which is ages 6 to 8, obviously there is more hand holding for our younger campers and also our Seneca campers, which is our like 8 to 9 or 10-year-olds. We obviously support all of our campers within like, their age. And so we obviously support them in making their bed and helping them fold their clothes and all of these things. But learning how to do these things before camp gives them the confidence and the boost to kind of take it on and be autonomous when they get to camp, and maybe even teach their friends. So I would also review the packing list together. So the packing list can be found in the family handbook. If it's on the website, it's under forms, overnight camp. It's called the family handbook. And I believe it's on page 3 or 4 is the packing list. So I would go over the packing list with your camper and you guys can pack together. I would pack the duffel bag together. So your camper knows what's in the duffel bag. So there's no surprises there. They are excited about their favorite shorts that they packed. And they're not like, Mom, I didn't want these clothes or whatever. And that also when they're unpacking, they know where everything is in the duffel bag so that they don't think, where's this? I can't find this. We didn't pack this. They, again, have autonomy over what is brought to camp and that they can unpack themselves. I would make sure that all of your campers' clothes have a name on it. So inevitably things get lost at camp. We have a large lost and found, and it will most easily get returned to you if your camper's first name and last name is on the item of clothing. The lost and found items there'll be a picture of them and they will be uploaded to Bunk One. So when you go home and you're like, I can't find this towel, you can log into Bunk One, go to the lost and found folder and scan the lost and found items. Anything that you find, depending on your driving distance to camp, you can either come pick it up or we can mail it to you. If your camper has never slept out of their house, I think this would be a good time to try that. Have a sleepover with a friend, have a sleepover with grandma and grandpa or an aunt or a cousin or someone so that they get the experience of not sleeping in their own bed and not waking up at home. So let's see. Lots of campers and families ask about this. I would encourage families to pack pictures so that campers can put pictures of their family, of the family dog, of their house, so that campers can put it on the wall of their cabin. This helps with homesickness so that they see a picture of mom and dad and their brother and their sister and their dog and whoever. And it's also fun for campers to kind of exchange that experience and be like, this is what my mom and dad look like. This is what my sister looks like. And they can, share that experience. We can provide tape for them if they want. That's not a big deal. So we can help them hang it up on the wall. And then meet new and returning families. So, a large part of that is you can easily meet new families at New Camper Orientation. Obviously that event has passed, but if you're still interested in meeting a new or returning family, you can let me know kind of who you want to meet, whether that is someone that is in the camper's demographic, that might be in the same session, that might be in the same cabin, that might live in your neighborhood. We can kind of look that up for you. I can then reach out to that other family, ask if it's okay to provide you with their contact information, and then you guys can communicate and meet, and then your camper knows somebody before they get to camp. And that might not be somebody that will be in their cabin, but just having like a face that looks familiar is comforting on that first day. Anything you guys want to add before moving on?
Just that there's a question in the chat. I don't know if you can see it because you're talking. So Danielle Swan's asking for an invitation code for B1 and where can we find that?
Sure. So I sent it in an initial welcome to camp email, but I will send it again. there is a login code on the Bunk One form. I can send it out probably tomorrow morning. I can resend that to you. Danielle Swan. I'll email it to you, and you'll also receive it again, because you'll receive another welcome to camp email with check-in times. If you're missing any forms, the friend requests, all of those things. So you'll hear from me, but I can send it out again in the morning. Can you review bunk notes again? Sure. So bunk notes happen on Bunk One. So Bunk One is a third-party vendor that we use, and we use them for two things. One is pictures, and the other is communication. So parents have the option of purchasing bunk notes and bunk replies. Bunk notes are from parents to campers. And what it is, it's basically like a template that you can write anything you want in. And then there's a QR code on the bottom of that then gets scanned, and it gets uploaded to the Bunk One site, where we as the camp staff print it out on our end, and we put it with camper mail, and that is distributed during shower time. Then there's bunk replies. Bunk replies are camper to parent communication, and it's the same thing, it's just backwards. So parents have the option of purchasing these bunk replies, and it's a blank piece of paper with a QR code. The camper receives this, they can, write home as normal. And it is, there's a drop box in the dining hall that campers drop it off in. And we take those, we scan them Tuesdays and Thursday nights, and it gets immediately emailed to you. So it's quick communication. It's obviously quicker than snail mail. If a camper is like extremely homesick, what we do is I would have the camper write a handwritten note. I then scan it on my end, and I put it in an email to you. So it's quick communication, but we do it without using a phone. And then for something like that, we don't use Bunk One. It's just something that like we do on our end. I don't know how much the bunk notes and the bunk replies cost. I want to say it's like 75 cents or something. I think you can buy it as a bundle. What I can do is after this Zoom, I can send everybody on here the Bunk One flyer, so you guys have it. Okay, cool. So encouragement is big. So we always say to campers that, you can do it. Whether they hate camp, they think it's like the worst thing that's ever happened to them, we know that they can get through 5 days or 6 days if it's a 1 week session, or 12, 13 days for a 2 week session. They might never come back to camp, and that's okay. We obviously want them to return, but we will never send them home for being homesick, because we know that they can get through this experience, and we don't want them to go home thinking that they failed or that they gave up. And so we are there to support the campers to make this the best possible situation. If a situation gets to that extreme, we will obviously be in constant communication with you about what's going on and what we're doing on our end, and all of these things. But just know that, extreme homesickness, we don't send home for homesick, because we know that they can do it. And I would communicate that to your camper as well, is that because you don't like it, it doesn't mean you're going to go home. You're going to get through it, and it's going to be great. Andrea, I know you had something to say.
Yeah, I just also wanted to just kind of reiterate, you may get some letters that are like, oh my gosh, it's terrible, I hate it here, right? And so sometimes that happens, but I just want you to keep in mind, as a parent, that has probably passed, right? So in the moment, it's like, I'm having this terrible moment because someone didn't sit with me at dinner and I'm feeling stressed out and overwhelmed. And so I write this letter to mom and dad that it's like, I hate it here, blah, 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 right? And it's like, that's normal, right, for kids to do, and we encourage it. but also it might not get to you right away. So if your child was having a prolonged experience, you would have heard from us. So if you do get something like that, just try to keep in mind that it was probably a fleeting situation and that it does happen. You can always call, I'm sure I can give you mental health email or however, parent liaison, and we'll double check, and you can check in with us. But I just want to throw that out there because some of the parents get really, really upset, and it's like, we're not going to let your child cry for 3 days and be screaming that they want to go home, but you might get an email or a message that seems a little overwhelmed. So just keep that in mind when you're getting mail.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
that fair, right? Yeah.
Something that we do every morning, the leadership team, so the camp director, the social workers, the village leaders, all of the leadership team meet every day and communicate about any campers that need additional support. And so we communicate that with each other, whether camper X felt like maybe they weren't engaging in camp, maybe they didn't make a friend, maybe they were really homesick at evening program last night. Maybe they didn't eat dinner last night, or they didn't want the alternative option, or whatever the case may be. Us as a leadership team meets every day to meet and discuss the campers that need more support, and then we meet again to follow up so that no camper is falling through the cracks. I would say as a parent to encourage your camper again, like that they can do it. When you're writing a letter home, try to leave out the things that will make a camper miss home, or what we say, FOMO. You don't want to say, we're having a great time at the beach, miss you, or, sorry you missed grandma's birthday. Leave it out. You can talk about all of those things when they're home. But I would just kind of leave it as like, I'm sure that you're having the best time in the world, and we are so excited to see you in a few days, like have fun. And so just leave out those FOMO things, those fear of missing out things. And again, reassure them that you'll see them soon. So expectations. So for drop off on Sunday, the expectation is that you will check them in and you will get your cabin assignment. You're going to get a wagon together with all your camper's belongings and take it to the village, where you'll meet the village leader, who is the unit head, and you'll meet all of your campers' counselors. The counselors will basically take it from there. You're going to sign off that that your camper is in our care, and then it's on camp staff to get them situated into their cabin. So we kind of say it's a quick goodbye, and I would tell your camper to kind of expect that. Prolonged goodbyes end up making the goodbye harder. And so why we kind of take it from there is like, okay, bye mom, bye dad, thank you so much, see you in a few days, and we're going to get your camper unpacked and settled. And we have activities and icebreakers and all of those things to get your camper engaged in camp quickly, so that the transition into camp is a lot smoother. In the past, we had families kind of stay for check-in for like an hour, and they would do their own camp tours. And what ended up happening was that the campers would have a harder time getting into camp, and it would create more homesickness. So now it's just it's a quick goodbye, and we got it. Okay. We have a few email addresses for camp that you can obviously reach out to. So Aki parent and Matali parent, that is the parent liaison, the first line of communication that you can email anytime. That email address is not being watched right now, so that will be open as soon as camp starts on June 25th. Before that, you are welcome to email me. I will probably CC Matali parent or Aki parent so that they're aware once they start camp. But you can email them, even ahead of time if you just want them to know or see something before they get to camp. The other email address is for the nurse, which is Aki nurse or Matali nurse at ycamp.org. If there's something that you just want to communicate to the nurse, you can do that via email. And obviously you can email me, Charlotte at ycamp.org. So that's all I have in terms of prepping your camper for a successful summer, unless anybody else wants to chime in.
I will say, as Charlotte was saying, kind of that preparatory phase is normalizing that it's okay to be feeling homesick. It's kind of accepting that it's going to be a possibility, and how you want to go about handling that. I think communicating with them about those services for writing letters and staying in communication are great. But also kind of using your own personal experiences. Hey, I've been homesick before. This is how I kind of went through it. But also reiterating that strength and resilience that your kids have. Hey, you can get through this. And I really think the motivation and normalizing that, hey, you're going to feel this way, but it's going to be okay.
Yeah, that's a really good point. A lot of campers will say to me, I'm homesick, but I'm having fun. And I always say, that's totally normal. You can miss home and like miss the comforts of home, but be having the best time at camp. And that's totally normal and that's totally okay. Any parent questions? Okay. I have a kid who feels calmer with preparation. Is it possible to get a song chant list for her to memorize before she gets here? Totally. I can totally send you that. I was going to write your name down. And that's a great idea. I can send that out to everybody. We have a Matali songbook and we have an Akanikan songbook, which outlines all of our songs and chants and skits and all the things that we do at camp so that she can learn those songs and memorize those songs before we get to camp. Maybe it's a good idea is maybe I'll have some of the staff like record themselves and we can send it out. And so campers know a few songs before they get to camp. A lot of songs that we do are repeat me songs and they learn very quickly. By the first dinner, most campers have already memorized like 3 songs and the dining hall is like cheering and singing with all the songs that they've learned in the past 20-30 minutes between checking in and dinner. So yeah, we can certainly do that and the campers learn very quickly. Any other questions or any concerns that I can answer for anybody?
I have a question, Charlotte. Can you hear me?
Sure. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm hiding in my room because my kids can't come in. So my question is, my older daughter, I'm not really worried about. I know she's excited. I mean, she might be homesick, but she's big enough. But my son who's doing the mini camp, he's 6 and he wanted to go because she was going. And he loved it. We went to the orientation, but I will tell you that I am internally very nervous that he's 6. And I want to support him because he wanted to go. He's excited, but I mean, all I can think about is him like not being able to take a shower by himself well, or you do know what I mean? Because he is so much younger and not where I would think he would be to go. I know that you normally take campers that young. So I just wanted to know if you could speak about, the younger campers, like how they handle, that they're excited to go, but they don't have the same independent skills yet. That's what's making me nervous. I know he's excited, but I am really nervous, but I don't want to damper his little spirit and not send him. Does that make sense?
Totally. So the first thing is, again, it's totally normal to be nervous as a parent, and that's okay. So all of our program is tailored to be age specific. So for our mini campers, we call it the vital round. And the vital round is like basics, showering, brushing your teeth, washing your face, changing your clothes, putting on bug spray and suntan lotion and drinking water. And we call that the vital round, We have 2 weeks of staff training for our leadership staff and our counselors. It's actually starting on Monday, where we are teaching our staff how to watch out for these things and how to support our campers on all different age levels. So obviously for our younger campers, it's meeting that vital round. For our older campers, it's more emotional and, supporting them in a more emotional need. So for our younger campers, we obviously don't stand in the shower with them, but we are right outside the shower house, we touch their hair to make sure it's wet. We're looking to make sure the shampoo is out. We're making sure that the soap is off their body. In the morning, we take all of them to the shower house. We make sure they're all brushing their teeth. and they're washing their face, and we make sure that, I saw that you wore those shorts yesterday, let's put on a new pair. And kind of all of those basics, we make sure, like, we take them all outside and we bug spray all of them, and we take them all outside and we make sure that everyone's applying sunscreen 2 or 3 times a day. We have water bottle checks, and we make sure that they're drinking 2 to 3 glasses of water at each meal, plus that they're finishing their water bottles during activities. Our schedule for mini campers is a lot different than it is for main camp. For main camp, campers have more choices. And for mini camp, we have a designated or 2 designated staff members that are with them throughout the whole day. So that's their point person that they feel comfortable with. And on top of having that specific counselor with them, they also have a unit head that oversees that whole group. So we make sure that it's, you know, a more individualized experience for them, because they need that emotional, or that they need that support.
So with the shower, again, because he's sick, so, you know, not the same as, you know, if he was 7 or 8. Do you recommend that we send, you know how they have those camping sponges so they could wash themselves, like if they're afraid to go underneath or it's cold water? I mean, do you recommend them just so that there is like a backup plan?
I always say like a loofah or something like that is helpful, but you know, whatever works for him.
Okay, okay. It's, yeah, no problem. I just wanted to check because I bought them just in case he needed them, you know, so he could just get them wet, wash himself if he doesn't want to like stand underneath the shower. But
I just want to say, like, as a mom
I'm
of
so nervous.
boys, like, I totally feel you. I totally do. I was like this my whole, like, I totally do. But I'm there every day, all day, right? I have 2, they're older now, but like, there's a lot of older, you know, the camp staff, some of them are young, but we're all moms too, right? So like,
Okay,
we're not going to see a child that's not like taking care of himself and not encourage that, right? So they're all the same age in that group. So they're all at the same level, right? So he's not going to be in with
okay.
like 16-year-old kids who
Right.
know what they're doing, and then we're like,
Yeah.
oh shoot, we didn't feed him all week. Like, that's not
I
what it
know,
is, right?
yeah.
So the camp staff that works with that population is hand chosen by Charlotte and the admin team, so they know like who's capable and who's caring and who's kind. So it's a very calculated process, right? We're not just throwing anybody in with the mini campers, so they are very well cared for. So from like mom to mom, you don't have to
Thank
worry
you.
about that kind of
Well,
stuff.
he's a boy. I don't know if you have. I have a girl first.
I have
and she was
boys.
so
I have boys.
advanced, and he's just like, no, I don't feel like doing my hair, and I don't want to get my like. They're just
I got
not.
news for
his
you.
Maturity
My
level is just
19-year-old son
not.
is like that. Yeah. No,
It's just
it never
not.
goes away. Yeah. No, it's okay. We got it. I promise. And
Oh
if
my
there's
gosh!
any
I was
like
like,
major
holy moly.
issues, we'll call you.
Yeah, he was like, "Do I have to take a shower?" I was like, "Unfortunately, yes, buddy, you do." Like, he's gonna have a blast. It's
And
just,
he's gonna go swimming, so it
like,
won't be
I
the
don't
worst thing
care.
if
He will be
he,
going swimming.
yeah,
he'll
I
be in
would
the
be like,
he's gonna be okay.
gonna be
Don't
there
worry.
for 3 days. I know. I was just, I'm
So,
just
yeah,
only
he
worried
will-
about him taking care of himself.
He's gonna be okay.
He's gonna be totally fine. And if the worst case scenario is that he goes home dirty, I promise you.
I don't really
he'll go
care.
home
I'll tell the
healthy
camp
and
leader there.
happy.
As long as he brushes his teeth and he goes swimming, I literally don't care. But it was just like, we're trying to get him to take a shower and he won't do it at home. And I was like, oh my God, how are you going to go to mini camp?
So
I bet
we-
you he
He's
does
so
it here with no
excited, so
problem.
I don't want to be
Yeah.
negative. I don't want to be negative.
So it's funny because things that might campers might not do at home, they are happy to do at camp because it's a different environment.
Mhm.
You know, campers, we sing songs in the shower and like, you know, it's different. So,
Okay.
you know, we have what we call like shower buddies. There's individual stalls.
Yeah, no, I
But
got you.
campers, but campers like to talk to each other in the shower while they're showering, and it's fun, and they like tell each other stories and they sing songs. And so they might not want to, you know, like showering at home, but when they get to camp, it's fun. And we make everything a game.
Okay, yeah, I'm not worried about. I know you guys will take care of it. It's just it's just so different to have, you know, a little boy who's, you know what I mean, than my daughter. It's just, he's a different personality, you know. He could be dirty all day, he wouldn't care.
Well, at the very
He could
least,
care less.
campers are going in the lake once a day, which I know is not a shower, but at least, you know,
I don't care. As long as he's happy and his teeth are brushed, I literally don't care.
I promise you
Okay,
that.
I just That's the only thing that gives me anxiety. Everything else I know, people have raved about your camp. So, I mean,
I'm
I
happy to hear
know that
that.
you guys do a great job. It's just my son has always been, not where my daughter was at this age. He's just, not as mature as she was.
So maybe
That's all.
this, we'll push him and make, see other campers his age. And sometimes seeing other campers his age doing things that he doesn't want to do kind of pushes them to get there.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I mean, he was so excited when he was at the orientation. I couldn't believe it. He was, he was so excited.
Good.
So, okay, thank you.
Hmm.
It takes my anxiety down. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Hmm.
And as we said, you can reach out to me or the parent liaison anytime. Just to be like, I just want to check in, and we can let you know how he's doing. Okay, some questions. So, how much room do they have for clothes and belongings? So they have cubbies in the cabin, and they get assigned like 2 or 3 like cubbies. A lot of campers bring the 3 drawers. It's like the 3 plastic drawers, and they put their belongings in that, and they put it in the car, and then they put it on the wagon and bring it right to camp. It's about 2 feet high, 2 or 3 feet, and it goes right under the bunk bed. If it doesn't fit on the bunk bed, we just put it right to the side of the bunk bed. But there's always room for stuff. Is there a brand of labels of clothing, personal items that you recommend? I don't have like a personal brand. You can get a lot of them like pretty easily on like Amazon or Etsy. There's like a million options, and you can like get a pattern and put your camper's name on it, and it's just like a sticker that goes on your camper's belongings. And I believe they're like machine washable, these certain types. There's my mom, like when I went to camp, old school, she like sewed every label into like every piece of clothing, but there's definitely easier ways to do it now. So you can go on to Etsy and do like, summer camp clothing label, and like a million things will pop up. I read that my daughter is going to the Golden Ball. What should she wear? So the Golden Ball is the social that happens that happens session 3. The theme of it is like a golden ball because it's the special event. It's Bataki games. There's nothing that she needs to specifically wear. She's welcome. Like a lot of people wear gold. The Golden Ball is session 4 for Color Wars. So she can wear whatever she wants. She can wear gold, or she could wear, really anything. A lot of campers just ask to like be poured in glitter. And so we have like lots of gold glitter, and we just kind of shower them in glitter, and like, that's what they want. But nobody has to wear anything. It's totally optional. For sunscreen and bug spray, do both need to be non-aerosol? No, it could be anything you want. For bug spray and sunscreen, whatever your camper prefers is totally fine. Okay, great. Any other questions or concerns or anything that I can answer for you guys? Okay, perfect. So this session will be recorded. So if you ever want to go back to it, it's going to be on our YouTube channel. I also have like a 1-sheeter of how to prep your camper for a successful summer. I will email that to you guys. I will also email the song list and the bunk 1-sheeter. So I will send that all to you. If any questions or concerns that arise between now and camp or after camp, just feel free to reach out. We have a whole team of camp staff here to support you and your family and your camper to have a successful time at camp. And that's our whole job. So just feel free to, contact anytime.
I have a question.
Sure.
Just a quick question. What happens if, say we're doing a 2-week session and the camper runs out of something, like say sunscreen or bug spray or literally anything? Is there a way of replenishing that?
Yeah, so for basic things like the flashlight loses batteries, or you sunscreen or bug spray or like any of those things, we have it all. So that's not an issue. If there's like a specific thing, like your camper wants shampoo, but they don't want to use this shampoo or like whatever the case may be, the parent liaison will call you and be like, what would you like us to do? Do you want us to use X or do you want to mail it? And so what happens is your camper communicates, you know, whatever the need is to the counselor communicates it to the unit leader, and then the unit leader tells the parent liaison to call home or email home.
Okay, all right, great, thank you.
Sure. Anything else? Okay, well, thank you guys so much, you know, for joining tonight. We are so excited that camp is in a few weeks. I can't believe it. I feel like camp just ended last year and we're already here again. So we are super, super excited. We have our first round of internationals already arrived on June 1st, and our second round arrived June 8th, in 2 days. And so it's almost a full house here. We just need your campers. So we are super excited. So thanks again, and we'll see you at camp. Bye guys. Thank you.